So this is the Hackamore I'm using. It's 1/2 inch. I've got it wrapped with vet wrap. Kind of funky, but the first day she wore it, it was already kind of tearing into her a little bit just from her wearing it. So I didn't want to do that. I could use some rawhide cream, but it was narrow, and I think these buttons are rather large. They were pushing in on her pretty hard, so I think that's why I was getting that reaction. Her jumping up, striking, showing me the bottom of her feet. So along with hanging it, I pulled it apart, I stretched it just by hand. I kind of do that every morning. It's got a nice feel to it, this Hackamore. It's got a little life to it, but it'll keep a shape too. I don't know where I got this, but anyway, I've had it a while. So that's what I'm using on her. This is a original blind bob rope, I'm happy to say, but I don't know who made the Hackamore. But anyway, that's what I'm working with. This is the filly in question. I call her Lucky. She's by a stallion named Shiner's War Leo, who's by Shining Spark. And she's out of a mare by a stallion called Smokin' 45, who is by Gunsmoke. So she's got a little bit of breeding. She's not very big, and she fell through the crack. She's 4, never got started. She got passed on from one person to another. So guy ended up just giving her to me. Some folks just don't even know where to begin. They won't fit the program. She's too squirrely. Nobody wants to put any money into her. So, not bad for a Craigslist horse. So I wanted to show how I fit this on her. I got the camera on a tripod, so I sort of have to get her to stay put here. If she will. She's getting pretty gentle with all this. I've ridden her now 8 times, I think. So I don't want to lose her out of frame here. So anyway, I didn't do any checking up with her really at all. But she's given me some nice signals. I'll try and show you when I ride her. But I got this button cleared away from her. I've got one little spot here on the nose, but I'm glad that's all I got. In the past, when I've taken a snaffle horse and then put him in a Hackamore, it always seemed like I just roughed him up, and I thought, how do you do this without roughing one up? And so I think if you start from the beginning, this was sort of an accident because I didn't have any padding, and just from this rubbing, and I might even take it up one to avoid that spot, but there's no marks under her chin, and oh, there's a little hair missing there, but anyway, I'm pretty happy so far with how it's going. So I set this mounting block in the middle of the arena. So for one thing, I knew where the camera would be framed in, since I'm recording this solo. And also I had worked this filly from the fence in a halter with the flag a little bit to get her comfortable with me over her. She got to where she was a little difficult getting on and off, being kind of small, and it'd throw her off balance, so it kind of bothered her. She couldn't really get braced enough for me to get on and off really comfortably. So I wanted to kind of give her a break and be able to get on from a fence. Because of the nature of the videoing this, I decided to use a mounting block. I'm not really an old and crippled guy. I just stepping on my fringe and trying not to get bucked off the mounting block. Anyway, she started to get pretty comfortable following a feel around me there. Hackamore's not really grabbing her anywhere, bothering her. Just kind of showing her where to put her feet, how to work things out. This is after 8 days of a lot of work, so this didn't happen overnight. I kind of get to where I can move her hind end, move her front end. Then I was working on getting her to step up. When a horse gets good, for you to get on from a fence or a log or something, they'll move that stirrup right to where it needs to be. Just have to be kind of consistent about it. She's working it out here. She's a little too far away. I've got to kind of get her to readjust. I'm sort of waiting on her. She's got to move her hindquarters over a little. There she goes. And then step up here. I'd like to get her a little closer, but I don't want to move her too much. That's better. If she can get even better than that, actually the next time I did this, she just moved right into position there. Now, I guess I want one more step out of her. There. So she's getting more and more comfortable with this. I could do it. I could get on and off, but she'd kind of got her jumping. So I just wanted her to make sure she was good with everything. Like a lot of young horses, she starts out a little tight. So I'm kind of ready for whatever might happen. So I just started working her at a walk and a trot, just sort of showing her in the lightest way possible how to move her hindquarters over and start working on moving her front end. I kind of swing my inside leg back, because I learned that from the rope. So you kind of change sides there, let her head swing over there before I really even add any rein. And that's my idea anyway. So add the little cues from the Hackamore as she's moving her neck head over there anyway. So I've moved her out too for the nature of this little video. I'm trying to stay in the same spot. I usually make sure she can lope out a little bit, although we haven't done a lot of loping. I just make sure she can move out without having a buck and fit. But this kind of thing just seems like they're just feeling their way through things, so this is the part that feels a little bit like fine-tuning even from the beginning. But I kind of like her upright neck a little bit. Seems like she's already got that little bridle horse look to her. With that pole coming up, the way her neck comes out of her shoulders, I kind of like that in her. Last thing I'd want to do is use draw reins or something, make her put her head down, like seems to be some of the modern style. So yeah, I can get her hindquarters, but I start working on just little steps of getting that front end to come across. And there she starts making it a little bit. These are places where she'd really get stuck, and I could not take that Hackamore to save my life. She'd just jump at that thing, and it just took a little bit of time. Kind of, I don't even like the way I'm bumping her there a little by accident, but it smooths out. It's hard not to grab on one that's kind of sensitive, and you can't really see it now, but she had the capacity to jump out of her tracks. And but things start smoothing out. She starts finding out how to kind of start working both ends of her. And try to do it in such a way like as one-handed as possible. And I don't really know if you call that a neck rein or not, but it's just the idea that she feels the change and she knows what to do about it. But you've got to really show them. They don't know. Seems like she's got to feel her way through till you do it enough times, and she's kind of like coming up to that mounting block. She knows what she's got to do. She doesn't know yet, but she's figuring it out. And a little front end, I think I try to get that over. Well, we all know we can just smack one, spur one, or send one off, and that's easy enough to do, but I'm sort of trying to see if I can't get in timing with what she's just about to do anyway, with just as little stimulus from me as possible. There'll be plenty of days where she'll take a kick or a spur, I'm sure. She might have to, but that's down the line. So I kind of like these little things that are happening here. And she's really coming off that Hackamore nice, if that's what you want to call it, coming off of it. There's really hardly any pressure at all. It's really kind of the lightest thing I've ever felt on her. She really, all that sensitivity really I tried to leave in there. Now getting on and off her here, I have to get her ready, and that's the best she's been. She really took that well. I can get on and off her on the other side, but I just wanted her to get more and more comfortable with that. So just for a little comparison, this is what things looked like a week ago. The first saddle in here. Ouch. I don't really like this round pin. Well, that's what I had. It's kind of a bad spot there, but she made it all right. Well, you could use a bottom board. Anyway, that was 1 week ago today.